Ah, that's good. Here Tuesday, July 14, 4:15 a.m. Nursing Sister Elena Fosso stood in the grotto Mentuno, listening to the lap of water against the granite walls, hoping Luca and the others would come back. Above her, the ceiling rose at least 20 feet, maybe more, and the wide corridor beneath it stretched another 100 to the canal and boat landing at the fine rudimentary benches, now fractured and worn by the years, had been hacked out of the nature stone walls. The land the full length of it on either side. 200 people could sit there easily. She wondered, wondered if that had been the purpose of cutting the benches in the first place, as a site for numbers of people to hide. If so, who had done it, and when the romance of peoples before them or after, whether its origin the cave or really series of caves, as one chamber opened onto another, was now wholly modern, with electricity, air vents, pumping, telephones, a small kitchen, and a large central living room, of which land at least three private suites decorated luxuriously and complete with opulent baths, massage rooms, and sleeping quarters. Somewhere that Toon thought she hadn't seen it was what was supposedly one of the most extensive wine cellars in all of Europe. They had been bought that Sunday night by the soft-spoken, erudite Edward Moe moments after their arrival at Villa Lorenzi, alone and at the wheel of a sleek, shallow-bottomed motorboat. Moe had taken them south in darkness, hugging the lake's shoreline for a good 10 minutes. He had finally turned in through a narrow cut in what seems the solid wall of a sheer cliff, then navigate through a tangle of rocks and overhanging foliage into the mouth of the cave itself. Once inside, he had turned the boat's powerful light and taking them through a mass of waterways until they reached the landing, a 30-foot platform cut out of a stone at the far end of the tunnel, where she stood. Then their surprise had been unloaded, and she and Mikhail brought to the suit where he was now two large rooms, one a bedroom where she slept, the other a small living entertaining area where Mikhail Rourke was at home. The spaces, divided by an ornate bathroom, cut from the cavern walls and inlaid with marble and accented with gold fixtures. The cave or grotto Mui and Tondam was on property belonging to Villa Lorenzi and had been discovered years earlier by its celebrated owner Eros Babu. His first venture had been to turn mm, และแผ่นดินไหวอีกละand had been discovered years earlier by its celebrated owner Eros Babu. His first venture had been to turn it into an immense wine cellar, and then he added the apartments. The construction, done by workers imported from a villa he owned in southern Mexico and afterward returned there. It was a way of keeping the cave's existence secret, especially from the locals. At age 64, Eros Babu was not only a highly successful and distinguished author, but was equally celebrated as a man whose legend mirrored 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 his name, his subterranean subterranean grotto becoming an intimate and most discreet destination for erotic dalliance with some of the world's most beautiful and prominent women. But whatever the grottos, his factory for Elena is now hell only fear and aloneness. She could still see Luca Flannery's eyes bulging in horror and rage as he took the call. His wife was dead, tortured, her body left to burn to cinders in a fire that ravaged the apartment where they had lived all of their married life. Moments after hanging up, Luca was gone, returning to Pescara for her funeral. and to be with that three children Marco and Pietro had gone with him. God bless you, she had told them as they left for Bellagio and the first aerofoil to Como, taking the only transportation they had a small outboard power. Aerofoil to Como, taking the only transportation they had a small outboat powered Dinfy Di-Fi Di-Fi powered Di-Fi, and now she was alone with Mikhail Wolf sleeping in the room behind her, hurrying to hear the sound of the outboard coming back. But there was no sound other than the gentle lap of the water against the rock walls. She was turning back for the room, determined. Her only course was to pick up the telephone and call her mother, General Insina, tell her what had happened, and ask what she should do. When she heard the distant rumble of a motorboat echo off the grotto walls, certain it was Luca and the others, she walked nearly ran down the corridor toward the landing. Then she saw the bright beam of the searchlight, heard the cut of the engines, and then the sleek hue of the flat-bottomed motorboat slid into view. It was ever moving.